What's going on, guys? Welcome back to GTA 5. Today we're here with the Futo GTX. This is another drift tuning car that I have not driven here on the channel yet, and I'm really excited to check it out. I actually took my old build from my original Futo GTX video way back when the tuners update came out, and I just threw the drift tuning on. So if you guys remember that video, I actually had EMS level 3 on that build, so we did stick with EMS level 3 for today. We're gonna be a little bit underpowered compared to the boys, and I figured what better environment to try out an AE86 or AE80, whatever this car is, then a nice Togue on some real roads with some trees and some hills. So we're gonna give it a run. We got H1, we got Thermal, we got Q-Tip, we got Tony, we got a few others out here with us today, and this is all about avoiding traffic and hitting some doors, man. Let's go. Let's see what we can get. I believe that is H1 up in front of us right now. We're gonna loop this one through the tunnel. Let's go, H1. Now, my initial impressions on the Futo here, guys, it does feel a little heavy considering how big of a car it is, and it definitely feels like it has a lot of grip as well. So as you guys can see just there, it's pretty easy to straighten up in a tandem if you don't keep the throttle on, and that's been interesting with EMS3 here. It's always interesting to drive with different engine levels and sort of wonder if I went up to EMS4 if it would really make that big of a difference on sort of slipping some of that grip and really keeping it sideways. But downhill it actually feels really nice. I'm only about half throttle most of the time. Oh no, traffic. But uphill, you're definitely giving it a lot compared to downhill. So that's definitely interesting. And it's tricky too with the drift tuning because it's not like you're just swapping out engine levels like you used to. You actually have to reapply the drift tuning every time. So it costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars to make engine power adjustments. So you gotta really be sure that you wanna do that when you go to do it. So it definitely inspires me, at least, to drive the car a little more and see if I can sort of make it work. And I really feel like we have been. Down the hill's not as much a problem because I can just be more aggressive, but uphill is really where I start to hit some trouble. Okay, H1, I see you with that angle, buddy. I see you, sir. Damn. Throwing backies. That is another thing, too, I think the Futo really shines with is angle. So one of the things that you get in the trade when you get a little bit more of that boaty feel is that it actually holds a lot of that angle when it does swing around. It's pretty good at maintaining that drift and maintaining that angle without spinning out. So huge benefit for the GTX there. I'll see if I can throw a nice big angle slide for you guys if we get a little gap or something, but we'll try and throw another tandem down here. H1 got a little too much angle there. Speaking of angle, let's see if I can make a pass on him. Send it down the hill towards Thermal. A lot of angle here on the GTX. That's awesome. Let's go, H1. Good stuff, buddy. All right, guys, here we are for spot number 2. We're up at U-Tool, up the highway. We recently drove this line with Stevie Wonder Kid a few videos back, and we are going to try it out here in the Futo. Now, I did want to talk about at this spot sort of where I rank the Futo amongst the drift cars and if I would pick it compared to the other cars. And honestly, I would say that depends. I think the Futo would probably be my pick for something a little bit tighter and a little bit slower because it has a ton of grip and it's a smaller car, and it just feels like it would be really nice and controlled in an instance like that. I think somewhere where I was really extending lines out, though, somewhere like maybe like a drift race or something where there might be longer sections that I'm really trying to extend out for, I don't know if I'd go for those. Now, that is to say I do have EMS3 on this car, so it's hard to make that judgment fairly because I don't have all the power that's available, but just by making a guess, because my G35 is currently on EMS3 as well, I would guess even that car to be much faster than the Futo in a straight line. Now, that's just a guess. We haven't tested that, but that would be my assumption, and I know the FR isn't really, I know it isn't one of the faster cars on the spectrum compared to like the RX-7, oh man, or maybe the Drift Tampa, and so nice save there, H1, way to save that, buddy. But if you're doing something that's slower or medium speed, where you're really not trying to rip too hard, there are definitely some huge benefits to the Futo. I think, like I said, big angle stuff, backies, etc., it really shines on stuff like that. So things like your green zones on a drift race, I think you'll find that the Futo is going to really shine in those instances, maybe even more so than some of the longer stuff. The big knockback, I think, for us really was tandeming at LSIA, which hasn't even made it into this video, but that was our warm-ups for this video, and we were finding that on those longer lines, we were gripping up a little bit more. As you figure out the car more, you grip up less just because you're getting the feel for the car. And so, you know what? Maybe we should hit up LSIA now that we've hit up a few more spots and got some good drifts in. Maybe we should go back to LSIA and see what kind of tandems we can get in these Futos because, oh man, And I feel like we're actually getting some pretty solid ones now compared to our warm-up round. And I think a comparison would be pretty neat. So maybe we'll head over to LSIA after some U-Tool stuff. Let's go, H1. He's glued to us right now. And we'll do a little shootout because we have... Ooh, we've picked it up. Let's go. That's the big thing with this Futo that's really, really nice, is what you guys just saw when you're like, any other car right there would have hit the rear bumper on that spot, but I just kind of gassed through it, and because it's such a small car and it does have so much of that rotation, it just kind of, it made it work. All right, guys, here we are for spot number 3. We got the Futo out at LSIA, and like I said, we were driving this car for, or we were driving this line for warm-ups before we started recording the video, and we were experiencing a little bit of a grip-up issue where on some of these longer lines and extensions, the cars are gripping up and sort of hitting each other in tandem instead of staying in drift and staying door-to-door on angle. So we're gonna use what little daylight we have left here to hit some lines with the boys, and we'll see what we can get. Look at these boys. We'll hop right into the back of this train here. And like I said, guys, hopefully with a little bit more experience here in these cars, we'll see some smoother drifts out here. You guys might remember this line from the S13 video, bringing it out here with H1. He was in his G35 for that one. I really like this line for testing out longer extensions, mid-drive speed boost, things like that, just because you can really make these corners as long or as shallow as you really need them to be. And already I'm noticing that we're having way less issues, and I think that's just because once again, we're getting used to the Futo. See, mine just did it a little bit there. See, I would really like to be able to hop on the left foot brake, and honestly, if I did a little earlier, I probably would have just stayed in drift. But that's really the one problem that we're having here with the Futos. But I think it's just a matter of seat time and just the fact that the Futo has more grip, period. And it's not the car that we're normally driving. Again, I don't think it's better or worse. I just think it has more grip, and we're not used to it. And I think that's why the tandems are a little bit clumpy. And right there, see that grip up? That's what we were experiencing a lot of in the Futo, that we don't really see as much with some of the other cars when we're tandeming. So I think that's the one thing to sort of look out for. Maybe the Futo has a little bit more grip than the other cars, but as you guys can see in situations like this, we can also get really clean drifts in the car, and I think that as we got more used to the Futo, we would get better tandems too. But is it really is it the car that you want to put all that seat time into? That's really what you want to ask yourself, you know, would you like a smaller car that rotates really well with a ton of grip? Maybe you're drifting a lot of city stuff where you're doing backies down back alleys or something. But anyway, guys, I think that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you made it this far, I genuinely appreciate you guys watching. If you enjoyed the video or you found it useful at all, please feel free to leave a like down below, subscribe for more just like it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.